What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. This is the David and Annie After the 90 Days podcast recap, season 1, episode 6. So it's been 6 episodes, and we don't look like we're any closer to getting Amber and Jordan to America. So Amber and Jordan, their visa interview didn't go as planned. So they returned to Annie's village, and they don't return to fanfare because they gave them the blessing to take the kids, and it kind of was premature because it kind of looks like they may have overpromised what they can do. So on loan especially feels like this is a big issue because you told us that you could take the kids, it wouldn't be a big deal, you were going to let them get a good education in the United States. You took them out of the village and now you've returned. And although Annie and David have a plan B, they do have an interview scheduled in Chiang Mai. Aunt Lone feels like there's a little bit more to the story. So we find out that she believes that there's a bad energy following David around. I do want to point out that Amber did stand up for David and she said, hey, look, this is definitely not something that he could have controlled. The interview, the denial, the process was all beyond David's control. He wasn't even allowed in. And I love to see that. They're like functioning as a family unit, which is really cool to see because everyone wanted to see how Annie and David would be with two teenagers. And I feel like they've bonded and they have built this connection with each other. So Aunt Lone feels like there's this bad energy following David around and closing doors and opportunities for them. Because if you know, they did do all the proper rituals and they gave their blessing and they did the temple dance. Everything that you do when you're making a big life change to make sure that things go your way. And when Aunt Lone saw that this was not going the way that they wanted it to go, she kind of feels that this has to do with a bad spirit, a bad energy, a bad ghost that's kind of following him around closely and getting in the way of things that he wants done and things to happen in their lives. So what we find out is there's something that they call a witch doctor. I think that's what they call it in English. But they basically are like a medium that you can go to and they can communicate with the spirit and try to ask what it wants and try to rid it from you, to detach it from following you around. So we find out Cindy knows someone specifically because she had a friend who had debt problems and they were having an issue with no money, have a lot of debt. They went to the witch doctor and now they're living wealthy in Australia. So, and we also found out that Annie spoke to a witch doctor, or I don't want to call it that. I feel like there's a better name for it. Let's call it a medium. She spoke to the medium and they said that she was going to meet and marry someone of a different nationality who didn't even speak the same language. And she didn't believe it, but then 4 years later, she married David. So I do believe that there's something to this. And I believe in spirits and I believe in negative energies and bad energies and positive energies and positive vibes. I feel like the spiritual realm is real and we, although can't see it, you can feel it. Cindy is gonna send David and Annie to the witch doctor or medium that she knows, and we're gonna hope to see that this bad energy or bad ghost can be detached from David and we can see their plan go as planned and Amber and Jordan make it to the United States. So we find out when Amber tells Cindy that this interview process and denial has really been bad on their confidence, which I can understand, going into an interview and telling someone everything about you and letting them, you feeling judged and feeling vulnerable, and then them telling you you're not good enough. That can be very negative on someone's self-esteem and confidence. So Cindy's like, you know what? In order to make you feel more confident and build your confidence and self-esteem, let's give you a makeover. We don't get to see the makeover results, so I'm assuming next week we're gonna see what happens. But it kind of looked like Amber was getting her hair colored a different color, and Jordan was getting a haircut and changing his look. So we're hoping that this will help the kids build their confidence in preparation for their new interview in Chiang Mai. So that is definitely something that we want to do, make sure they're ready and confident and ready to take on this new interview process. So at the end of the episode, we see Annie and David go to see the Mordu is what they call it in, I believe, Thai. And it's basically the medium, the person who can connect and speak to spirits. So within minutes of arriving, the Mordu says something and Annie jumps up and literally runs out of the room, and we have no idea what happened. We're gonna have to wait until next week to see what the Mordu actually said. But we're really terrified because we don't know what this means, and if this means that it's a really bad ghost or omen, and to the point where Annie doesn't even want to be in the same room with David. This could be a big issue. So we're gonna have to tune in and see what happens next week. Make sure you guys are there and you're live tweeting the Annie and David After the 90 Days show on Twitter. I'm George Mossey, I'm your host. Make sure you're watching next week, and we'll see you guys really soon.